It was a fun tangle break. I don't know, I was feeling a little zen today. Hi everybody, welcome back. Or if it's the first time you clicked on my channel, thanks for stopping by. I have been working on reticulas and fragments within Zentangle in my spare time. And I thought I would start playing with some of these. And reticula is really a grid pattern. It's a frame that holds smaller sections of another repeated pattern. So if you've ever picked up the Zentangle Premiere book, there's a bunch of fragments in there that you can play with, and some grid designs that you can try, fitting these together, mirroring them, and mixing them up and matching them. But it's a really fun concept within Zentangle. And so I have been working on some of my own, and I came up with a new one that I put in this. It almost looks like Marisu, but it's not. The string is a particular string or a pattern number. And I've just been playing with that. So I thought I would see what I could do with coming up with my own little fragment. And this doesn't look like much, but I'm gonna see what I can do with it. So let's go ahead and give it a shot and see what we come up with. Wishing you a few moments of peace and zen, should you need it. I think in today's world, we all do, right? There isn't enough time to catch our breath with all the information coming in. And keeping up with daily life, it seems like you really have to make an effort to take out a few minutes to care for our own mental health. I know I sure do. When I take time for that much needed creative break, even if I'm doing something creative as my illustration or colored pencil work, I still need that break where my mind can just be free of thinking of where the next line goes, where the light is coming from. So I usually rely on my Zentangle sketchbook and just being free and making that first little mark and letting my hand do the rest. And what develops is amazing. I think that's where my little Zen pond came to life on my tile today. It wasn't something that I planned. It just happened. Today, I'm starting with a simple pattern I created in a small square. We call it a fragment. It's simply an element of design. And what I'm going to do with this fragment is add it to a grid, which in Zentangle terms we call a reticula. So I'm simply repeating this pattern on this grid, or this fragment on this reticula. See what happens when I repeat this pattern. Okay, everybody, so this is where we are so far. So I've completed adding my fragments, and I started with the string of Marisu. I didn't ink it because I wanted the flexibility of shading and creating a little bit more dimension. So, after I fill in my fragments, now I am ready to shade. So grab your sharpened pencil. You don't have to have a Zentangle mini graphite. Just make sure you have a sharp pencil, a B, a 2B. The smaller the areas, the darker you can lay it in. So you could even go with a 4B, a 6B, 8B, except when you're working in those small areas, that's going to give you a lot of graphite and it'll blend out your whites really quick. So when I'm working small, I like to stay with a B or a 2B and just take the extra time to darken that spot. So that's just my point of view. So let's get shading. So I'm not doing a lot of shading on this piece because I am going to do watercolor in the background. So I'm going to just start by shading in the corners like we usually do with Hollybaugh or Bales or any number of tangles, just darkening those corners and spreading that graphite out just a bit, leaving a highlight in the middle. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of extra line weight to the top of this little simple design element that I created. So just going around and adding some extra thickness to that line. Now I want to go back and just catch some of the inner circles that I missed. And I'm also going to erase the guidelines that I had originally drawn. Now you can see how we took the one fragment and put it in on this grid. This is a fragment, and this would be called the reticula, the string of the tangle. There's also a book available on Zentangle.com that has just a bunch of fragments, and it's called Fragments and Reticulas. Okay, so let's see what more we can do with this next. Now this is the beauty of Zentangle. As I started, you saw the very simple design I was working with. In no way did I think, oh, I'm going to make a Zen pond out of this. I simply started with that fragment and the grid pattern which resembles Marisu, and filled that grid in. Now, as my mind was filling that, it was disconnecting from everything else that I'm thinking about in the other areas of my life. And when I was done, I kind of looked at it and it almost felt like a swirl of water. And in no way did I start with that thinking. So that's where I began to think, all right, maybe I'll sketch out some rocks and maybe I'll put in some flux for some green flowers, just something simple. And I started developing that. Now I did start with sketching the background because I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and I love ribbons, and when I drew the ribbon in, it appeared to me that that would be a river of water. So that ribbon came first, and the water idea started to come to me. So you can see that as you're in this creative state and just tangling, you're not tangling with a reference, you're not tangling with a design. You are really letting your mind go free. Let it release all that inner worry or what your next stroke is going to be or whatever it is you may be concerned or thinking about. And just start with the basic element and let it grow. And you'll be surprised where your mind takes you. It's just fascinating, relaxing, stabilizing. It's wonderful. It enhances my creativity every time. Now, as far as the watercolor, I'll be happy to talk about that more in another video if you would like to learn my watercolor process. I just didn't want to make this video so long, so I sped through that. I just more or less wanted to show you how this Zen pond came to life in real time. So that's all I have for today. So I hope you enjoyed just this little introduction to reticulas and fragments, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Got lots of videos coming. Lots of love. Keep tangling. See you soon. Bye.